This is so hard. Like, you're asking a music student, like, three favorite artists. It's so hard. Um, Bruno Mars, of course. If we're talking more like modern, um, I think that Sabrina Carpenter is great. Um, and also Ray. Ray is amazing. Ray is a UK artist. That is great. Music is the best gift that you can ever give to your child. It's a universal language. It's a skill that they can take with them literally anywhere that they go, especially if you're singing. If you're interested in vocal lessons, you're carrying your instrument on you 24/7. It's really cool to just pop that out. Imagine being at a karaoke bar at your friend's birthday party and they pass you the mic and you can actually get the confidence to sing in front of all of your friends. Like, that's so cool. Um, or picking up the guitar and jamming out with your family, like, it's a lot of fun. And I know for me, growing up and having music in my life, performing at my cousins and my little brother, my little sister, my older brother, like, their graduations and their birthdays, like, it's so impactful to the family, as well, to have music so incorporated into their lives. um, but yeah, if you're thinking about coming in and having your child learn music, you totally, totally should go through with it. It is 100% the best choice that you will ever make in your life. I promise you that. Well, I think music has a really cool way of bringing people together no matter what. But I do go to Berklee College of Music. I'm a rising senior there. So I've actually got to meet a bunch of really cool people in the industry. LL Cool J, I've got to meet PJ Morton. He's amazing. He's the keyboardist in Maroon 5. He also has a great gospel and soul solo career. I've got to meet Victor Wooten, Corey Wong, a bunch of really cool people. And I've got to do like little semi private lessons with Victor Wooten as well with bass. So that's been really, really fun. Um, but honestly, every single experience that I have with collaboration in music is just a blessing. So everybody's really cool that I got to meet, like, in music, but those people stand out to me the most. So I first started taking vocal lessons when I was 3 years old under John Salvatera, and I've just kind of stuck with that my entire career. I'm 21 now. Like I said, I go to Berkeley, so I go to music school for voice. Um, but yeah, I started with voice when I was 3. Started taking piano lessons at 7. Then I started to pick up the guitar at 12, and then the bass at 15. Um, but yeah, that's just my experience with everything. I think the biggest thing for me was actually physical, like having a physical instrument in front of you. That was very helpful for me. Voice is very internal. You can't really see exactly like the notes that you're gonna hit and everything like that. So transitioning to piano um, kind of helped me with my music theory in that sense, and my traditional kind of bringing up in the music world. That helped me to like read notes and really be accountable for rhythm and tempo and things like that. And then as I started to fall deeper in love with the piano, I started to take up the guitar, and then that led me to the bass. But yeah, every single musical instrument, like, they all have the same kind of fundamentals. So you learn music theory and you learn like that kind of foundation, and you can apply that to any instrument that you pick up. So my journey to Berkeley was actually a really funny one. I went to Midpack for musical theater. I was in their School of the Arts program from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. So music and acting were both equally huge parts in my life. And actually, Berkeley was the only music school that I applied for. All of my other schools were acting schools. So if you looked at the odds, I was supposed to go to acting school. Um, But it got to the point where I just knew in my career, like looking in the future for myself, I wanted to be a singer. I started out with vocal lessons when I was 3, so it's kind of been my thing my entire life. Um, and acting was really, really fun for me, but it gave me a different feeling. Um, it still satisfied that craving of like, you know, being out there on stage and doing what I actually really loved, but it was just a different feeling than singing. So after a bunch of sleepless nights, I came to the decision to actually just take up my music career full force. And that was really scary for me because I'm the first one in my family to do it. Um, my older brother's an actor, and I went to music school. So having that like industry for myself and having to navigate that, especially in the States, was kind of really crazy. But I'm really glad that I came to that decision to go to Berkeley. Um, and I don't regret it at all. I've learned so much at that school. Um, and yeah, it's just fostered my creativity in so many different ways. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I was kind of brought up in the church, and there's like this saying that was on the wall near like our choir. Um, Anybody who sings is praying twice as hard, um, and that's so true. Um, that kind of gave us encouragement, when we were singing. But it's very true. Like music is such, I guess, art as a whole is just such an intimate and vulnerable thing, like state to kind of like be in. Um, and when words fail, music speaks. That's like truly what I believe in. So, sometimes I find it hard for myself. I'm a songwriter as well as being a singer. Um, but myself as a person, Tyler, away from like the art, sometimes I find it hard to find the words that I'm trying to say, or find ways to like get my point across to the other person. And the only way that I can really feel like, okay, this is exactly what I'm saying and these are the emotions that I'm trying to convey, like that's through my music. And that gave me music gives me a creative outlet for everything. So whether I was frustrated with something or I had really big emotions, whether I was sad or happy, frustrated, anything like that, that kind of like really helped me to keep myself in check. It gave me that kind of, it's kind of like, I think of my songs as my own little like journal entries and my diary entries. Um, so that helped to like keep me emotionally like in check, like as a person. And just being in the music industry just as a whole, if you're trying to be a musician or if you are a musician, like you would know, it's a lot of discipline, it's a lot of practice. You really got to sit down and devote hours and hours and hours of your life to this one thing. um, but it's very special. And I know for me, I've dedicated so many years of my life to this, and I can't wait to devote even more of my life, like the rest of my life, for this. Um, Amy Winehouse like said it perfectly, but it's just so cool that she just like you just get to do the music thing for the rest of your life, and that is the biggest reward that you can ever get. I would just tell myself not to worry as much. Um, I'm trying to unlearn old habits. I'm very much a perfectionist. Every single performance of mine has to be perfect. Um, but in order for me to think that it's perfect, I would stay up for days and days and days before the performance, just practicing my song, going over one part, like literally breaking down the song by note, to make sure that every single note that I was producing was perfect. But that's not really what it's about. When you get to that point where you're trying to like manufacture a performance, you're kind of missing the target when you're performing. But I would tell myself to not worry so much. You're just a kid, you can have fun in music, you can make mistakes. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. In 5 years, it's not going to hurt you. A mistake is a mistake, and that's how you learn and that's how you grow. But that's the biggest piece of advice I would give myself. like I said, I took vocal lessons when I was 3. And really funny, the choir director was just like, oh, like she was also my music teacher. Um, and growing up, she'd be like, oh, like she can match the pitch. Like, let's get her to sing some like hymns, and let's get her to do to cantor on the Friday mass, because we would have Friday mass as a school. And so, starting from first grade, I remember being up there, like scared and nervous that I was gonna mess up the words, even though it was right in front of me. Um, like I would just get up there and sing. And like I said earlier, everyone who sings is praying twice as hard. But that's when when I'm singing, that's when I can feel the most connected to God. Because everyone says this, it's a gift from God. And when you're using your gift to connect with Him, it's just a complete different type of connection that you can really feel. So I give a lot of props to people who sing in the choir, because I know that was me growing up, and it's very, very meaningful. But yeah, singing in choir, that kind of like really helped me with that. But then I also sang in an outside choir, Hawaii Sacred Choir, and that also helped me to like be really committed and devoted in my relationship and my faith with God.